Hello, good afternoon, and welcome. Daniel Jugenis coming to you from London in the United Kingdom. Trust you're all well and safe and healthy. For myself, I'm physically, I'm good, I'm fine. Emotionally, mentally, not so fine. What I want to discuss with you today, and I did touch upon it yesterday, is censorship. Let's talk about censorship. Let's talk about the thought police. The thought police are these people who are self appointed and think they have the God given right, divine right of kings, sorry, to actually tell people what they can say and what they can't say and what they can't think or express. Now, I've kind of no, look, we're talking about political correctness here. That's been around for, let's see now, since the early 90s. So we're talking about 30 years now. But what I find very pervasive and almost Orwellian is now that we've got a pandemic crisis on and people are naturally concerned and fearful and are expressing that on social media, suddenly these appointees, these self appointees of who constitute the thought police, are now saying, well, anybody who says anything negative on my thread or if it flags up on their news feed, they're going to block them. Blah 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 blah. I've blocked, A, B, C, D, Tom, Dick, and Harry, whatever. Well, that's fine. If you have a problem with that, then fine. Take people off. I personally really don't give a 4x. If you have a problem with other people expressing their concerns and fears during a crisis. Now, on a personal level, I have the issue with my brother who is in hospital, not because of COVID 19 stroke coronavirus. It's, other health issues. And, my brother and I are close and yet not close. I don't know much of what goes on with him in his life, personal, professional, and otherwise. Not because we are estranged or anything. It's just the way it is. So when I heard that he had been hospitalized, I was naturally concerned and worried because I didn't know anything about it. He's never had a sick day in his life as far as I'm aware. So I'm kind of worried about him. Okay. On the other side of the coin is that I found out that my mother has been ill. I've heard from a third party that she's ill with the coronavirus. Now, I can't, from a journalistic standpoint, corroborate any of this. I've just heard it by relatives' third party. Okay, different kettle of fish, the situation with my mother, which is a story in itself, in that, I haven't spoken to her for 10 years, or rather, she hasn't spoken to me for 10 years, and we have a very complex history, and that a complex history that goes back 5 decades. So you can imagine where I maybe feel I'm finding it's terrible. It's my mother, she's my mother, but I'm finding it very hard to kind of get all worked up about this anyway because of that history. But also, I'm, again, like my brother, I'm hearing this situation, via by third party. I've been told not to, where my brother's concerned, is not to discuss the issue, blah, 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 blah. Right. First off, I don't, at my time of life, need people to tell me what I can or cannot do. Okay, I've gone back to my sister, my elder sister in this case, who is telling me not to discuss situation with brother, blah, 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 blah. So I've gone back to her and said, well, look, it's like this, right? His daughter, my niece, I call her. I've called her twice. I don't get an answer. She comes back and says, well, niece was ill. I said, well, look, I'm just saying. I didn't know that, okay? My dilemma is that when things go wrong, things go south, right, where family's concerned, who do I turn to? That's my question to you, big sister. You see my dilemma? Who do I turn to? Now, because where family's concerned, I'm out on the limb. I have two cousins in London and second cousins who I occasionally hang out with. So naturally, if I have issues or whatever, there's at least two of them, first cousins, that I can pick up the phone and call too. I'm not getting that with siblings at all, but I'm getting that with cousins. So something happens with my brother, okay, I can't get hold of him, so naturally I'm going to turn to first cousins and talk about it. And that's my dilemma. And this links into this kind of censorship thing that you're being put upon, that you can't say this, you can't say that. Now, the last time I looked, when I went to bed last night, and every night I've gone to bed, free speech was still up and running. It wasn't banned. Okay? Now, in terms of family generally, I have a better family on social media than I have with a better relationship with people on social media who I've never met but I've spoken to than I do with my family, which includes mother, brothers and sisters. Okay? I don't really have the kind of relationship that one would expect to have coming from a big family. I just don't have that. So therefore, if I have concerns, well, I'll write about them. I'm a writer. I'll write about them. I'll put it on my blog, or I'll probably put it in my journal and things like that. I may even discuss it on this format, because this is, after all, a video diary. And a diary is about oneself. What one is going through in life, what one experiences, what one thinks, what one does. So this is my platform, be it this video diary I'm recording, be it social media like Facebook, not so much Twitter really, but certainly Facebook, and my blog, where I will discuss certain things. Now, if people don't wish me to talk about how I'm feeling with regards to them, then that's fine. If things happen, then don't contact me. I can go into this a lot more deeper, but out of respect for my brother, I'm not going to go into it. But if people really want my help, or they want me to act in a certain, well, not so much act, but so much assist them by being a little bit more confidential, then they need to actually pick up the phone when I call, or respond to messages when I send those messages. Otherwise, there's not much point contacting me in the first place. Now, the issue I have on a personal front is that I'm hearing stuff about, i.e., my brother and my mother, by third party. Okay? And that to me is not good enough. It kind of really isn't. So to be told, well, you can't discuss it unless it is with for example, your niece, well, that's very fine. That's fine. But when I contact my niece, I just get voicemail. See my dilemma? It's really, really frustrating. So what I'm going to do, and this sounds very harsh, is that I'm just going to step off. I'm just going to take a step back and not bother myself. If anybody wants my help for anything, then I'm a phone call away. I'm a text message away. I'm a WhatsApp phone call or message away. I'm just not going to bother, you know, just let people get on with it. You know, they didn't ask. Well, my brother didn't ask my help. But he's my brother and I'm concerned. But I'm just going to take a step off. I'm just going to step back and not do anything. And if anybody needs my help, then fine. As I said, there's various ways of contacting me. Just let them do it. I've got my own issues as such. I've got my own fish to fry. I'm trying to be helpful here, but clearly it's not being appreciated. So I'm just, hey, step off. Just do my thing. Let everybody else do theirs. When they land on their feet, they want to talk to me. Well, they know where I am. That's me. Done. On that front, on the personal front. On the censorship front, I don't think I can say much more than, people, you have a right to express your fears and your concerns. My only advice is, whether you've got something positive or negative to say, use some journalistic integrity and look at the facts, look at the figures, and just make up your own mind based on that. If something sounds outlandish and dubious, it probably is, and you have a right to criticize it. And if people want to come back and say, well, no, it's not like that, that's fine. Then have that debate, but do not accept the argument or the dictates from other people that you should not talk about things that are concerning you, in terms of, let's say, something more British here, Brexit. We have a pandemic crisis, so therefore you shouldn't talk about Brexit because there is no correlation between Brexit and the coronavirus. Well, you could. Well, Brexit is not responsible for the coronavirus, but the fact is that there were a lot of European nationals working in the NHS, National Health Service, medical professionals, and a lot of them, when nation, well, at least 17.4 million people voted to leave the European Union, a lot of those professionals left. So our National Health Service is under strain. That's not because of Brexit, that's a consequence of Brexit. But to the thought police, you cannot discuss that. It's got nothing to do with the coronavirus. Well, you know what? Hey, listen. People are entitled to their own opinion, and I am entitled to mine, and I have the freedom to express myself based on what I do as a Democrat, which is to listen to both sides of the argument, look at the facts, look at the figures, and make up my own mind. Now, if you disagree with that, then that's fine. But please don't bullshit me by telling me that I should not be making a correlation between the consequences of Brexit and the coronavirus. That is my effing right to do so, and I will defend it the way Americans will defend their rights to bear arms, and I'm really, really, serious about that. So, if people want to kind of come along with that shit and tell me that I can't do that, then, they're in for a war, so, bring it on. I'm ready. And given the situation that I'm kind of dealing with on a personal level, I'm really geared up for a fight. So the thing I will tell people right now is, well, I'm going to write what I want. You want to disagree with it? Fine, right? But don't tell me what I can or can't say, write, do, think, whatever, because, you're going to be hearing it from me, both barrels. So that's the frame of mind I'm in right now, and that's all, you know, on a personal thing, to be honest with you. I mean, there's just messages just flagged up here on my phone from WhatsApp from my big sister, and she saying that she's heard that my mother doesn't have the virus. So I'm not sure where that news came from. I really don't. But you know, um, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just kind of really kind of lost in that, because I mean it came from a reliable source. So this just gets better and better. But then I'm thankful that my mother doesn't have the virus. But oh wow. Well, that's some good news at least. Anyway, that's some good news at least. Anyway, I know that I'm being very down. I'm, you know, I'm on the dark. I'm walking on the dark side. I have not succumbed to the dark side, but sometimes in these difficult times, even the smallest things can wind you up. And one of the things that's really kind of winding him up is his family issues, lack of communication, and also the self-appointed Orwellian thought police, you know, telling, not telling, but dictating to people what they can or can't say, think, or do on social media and anywhere else. We are in the middle of a pandemic crisis, and we are worried. People are worried. People are fearful. People have lost family and friends. And that's something we have to realize. And people who have lost family and friends and children even are going through a very difficult time. They're not able to mourn or bury their loved ones with any kind of dignity, because even large funerals are kind of banned or advised against. And so people are seeing these things and they're worried as well, and they're fearful. And they're going to want to say things and express those fears and concerns. And if they want to look at the consequences of, and I'm talking from a British perspective here, of 10 years of austerity, policy of austerity, the last 4 years from the fallout of the referendum on staying or leaving European Union, and actually leaving European Union, i.e. Brexit, and they're going to make correlation between what's happening now in terms of how the virus, the COVID-19 coronavirus is being handled, and they kind of look at the situation with our National Health Service, look at the consequence of Brexit, that a lot of health professionals have left and gone back to their native countries. They're going to make that correlation, and it is right and fair that they should express that. And for those who voted for Brexit to turn around and say, well, it's got no relevance, well, that's fine. That's fine. That's your opinion. But don't expect me to. I'll respect your opinion, but I'm not going to take dictates from you that it's not relevant when I know damn well personally that it is. And I'm going to say, you don't have to like it. Don't even have to have me on your friendship list or on your newsfeed. That's your choice. So, on that note, after walking on the dark side, haven't succumbed to the dark side, just walking on the dark side today, I will bid you adieu, au revoir, as always, and say, be good to